Well, I'm not exactly arriving to the party on time, but I'm here, the Nikon ZF. I've got it here, and I've got it for the next couple of months. Huge shout out to Nikon USA. Since I've been using the Z8 for almost a year now, I've been consistently getting messages and comments from people asking me to just check out the ZF and share my thoughts. A lot of people have said, Matt, if you haven't tried it yet, I think you would love this camera. That seemed to be like the common thing, was people just saying like, how have you not tried this yet? This seems like it would be perfect for you. So I'm happy to finally be spending some time with it. I have it, I believe, through the end of November, and then I'm going to be sending it back to Nikon. Unless, of course, I fall in love with this thing. And I'll be honest, when this camera first came out, my friend Ben, he works up at Midwest Photo, and he got to try one out when the camera first released. And I got to just shoot around with that one for maybe an hour, and I did not like the way the camera felt at all in the hand, and I just sort of immediately just decided that's not a camera for me. I knew it would appeal to a lot of people, and I was excited to see this camera come out and to see so many people gravitate towards it. It just didn't really click with me right away, and I was kind of surprised by that. I went into it kind of hoping I would fall in love with it, because when it was first, revealed, on paper, I was like, that's perfect. Like, it looks very similar to the FM2, one of my all-time favorites. Yeah, there have been times where I pick up a camera and immediately get excited about it and it just feels right, and this just wasn't one of them, and that was it for me. However, as I mentioned, I've consistently gotten messages and comments from people asking me, like, how have you not tried this out yet? So I wanted to give it some more time, and I will say, after a couple of weeks, maybe I was wrong. Maybe I was too quick to immediately just decide, that's not one that I'm going to enjoy using. And I think for me, if I were to buy this camera, like, the idea of me reviewing the camera, there's nothing I need to say about this camera capability-wise. Autofocus is great. Is it going to compete with the Z8? No. Are the files going to compete with the Z8? No. But for the vast majority of people, the actual application of what the camera is going to be used for, it is more than capable. And so there's just not a lot I can say in terms of an overall review that needs to be said, especially 2 years after the camera came out. So I kind of have a specific angle that I want to approach using the camera and talking about the camera over the next couple of months while I have it. And that's as the everyday camera. For me, if I were to actually buy the camera, that's where it would fit in. It would be the digital camera that I just take with me, every day, just over the shoulder, not necessarily in the camera bag. For an everyday carry camera, when I'm using a digital camera, right now, my only digital camera is the Nikon Z8, which is what I'm using to record this. And I have used that as an everyday camera and just carrying it over my shoulder, just as I'm out and about. And I always tell myself, like, quit complaining. It's not that big of a deal. It's really not. It's really not. But the second I go to use a camera like this and throw it over my shoulder, I immediately appreciate that difference. So it's the little things, but nice compact size. The flip out screen, I wouldn't necessarily think this would appeal to the people who are like filming themselves and needing the flip out screen to see them. However, that thought has crossed my mind, because if this were an everyday carry kind of camera that I'm using to just go out and shoot photos, if I ever wanted to record video and talk to the camera and not have to use a small like action camera or the Osmo, if I wanted to use, a proper full frame camera for the video as well, this could also be a good hybrid camera in that regard. But that's a very specific kind of niche use for photography first, everyday carry kind of camera. If this is going to appeal to those people because of the style, the fact that you can just flip the LCD screen shut and you just kind of treat it like a film camera in that way and not looking at the screen at all. I mean, you have an EVF, so you're looking at a screen inside, but you're seeing your exposure in real time. You have no reason to necessarily use the LCD unless you prefer to. So if you just want to, pretend the screen isn't there and shoot it that way, I have really enjoyed that. And let's talk about those shutter speed dials and the whole vintage aesthetic of the camera, because that's really what I think most people are drawn to the camera for in the first place. It would make sense. However, maybe it's because I've been using the Z8 for so long, but I've just repurposed the dials here on the back and the front. I have my ISO mapped to this little function button right here, so I just press that in, adjust it with my thumb dial, and my shutter speed is right there on the thumb dial. It's just faster for me. I think the ergonomics of the camera, it's just not as comfortable to reach up here for me as I'm shooting. If I had a grip or an accessory on there, maybe I would feel differently, but it's just not a comfortable camera for me. It has grown on me a little bit over the last couple of weeks, but I just don't find it to be as comfortable as it could be. And I do plan on trying some grips or some different accessories. Shout out Camera Craft. I just saw they posted like a little thumb lever right here that just kind of like sticks on. And I don't even own this camera, but I think I might buy one of those because those look like that would make a significant difference. Just having something proper here for my thumb to rest on. A lot of people swear by like the small rig grip and a couple of other grips that are out there. But I think if there was just a little bit of a thumb support, that would do a lot for this camera in terms of ergonomics. But again, that's personal preference. It has grown on me. This lens as well, let's talk about the lens. I have the 40mm f2 lens. This is sort of the kit lens that comes with it. And I wanted to see just how kit it is, and you can hear just how plasticky that is. The lens does have a plastic lens mount, and it feels and sounds very, very plasticky, but it is a very cheap lens, so it's super, super affordable. Very compact lens. 40mm f2 is a very good, like, standard focal length for an everyday carry. And I have been insanely impressed with this lens, given the price and just the overall feel of it. I really didn't have high expectations going in. If I shot it side by side with the 35 1.8S that I love, I'm sure I would see some differences there if I really, really tried. But for a 40mm f2 lens at that price, yeah, that feels like a just necessity to have with the ZF. If you're going to buy the ZF, it would make sense to get it with this lens. If you find yourself liking that focal length and you like autofocus, it makes perfect sense to get this and probably not much else. I don't think I'm going to spend much time using any of my other Z-mount lenses. Almost said F-mount. Any of my other Z-mount lenses, I'm going to try to shoot with just the 40mm f2 as much as I can, just to, continue testing it and providing any kind of feedback, sample photos, that kind of stuff. But I also am going to try at least one lens, the Z-mount 50mm Samara from Thypok. I'm going to try to get that on loan to try with this camera, because I feel like that would be a perfect fit, that lens, for this camera. So if I can make that happen, I'll make a video about that as well. And if you have any other things that you want me to try out or test or share my thoughts on with the ZF, let me know in the comments down below. Shoot me an email over at mattdayphoto.com. That's where you can find me. And if you didn't know, I made that website with the sponsor of this video, Squarespace. I've been using Squarespace for over a decade. As soon as I launched mattdayphoto.com, I needed a place to build it, and I went with Squarespace because it was a no-brainer back then, and to this day, they are still the best all-in-one place to build a website. When I first launched my site, I was using it mostly for wedding photography, portrait photography. I needed a place to show my work, so all of their templates with all the different galleries that you can build, it was super easy to get started and just have a place to show my work. Having a place for clients to contact you and even schedule appointments directly through your site, it's an essential tool. The templates are super flexible. You can change anything at any time. So now I use that same website for self-publishing, selling my own zines and photo books directly through my online store. Everything I do runs through my website. So if you're a photographer, I highly encourage you to give your work a place to live and make your own spot online, not just in the middle of an algorithm. You can check out Squarespace for yourself and do a free trial at squarespace.com, but when you're ready to launch your site, go to squarespace.com/mattday, use the code mattday at checkout. That'll save you 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. So thank you again to Squarespace for sponsoring this video and supporting this channel. But that'll do it for my thoughts on the ZF, my first impressions at least. Again, I've got the next couple of months with this camera. I'm excited to keep using it and sharing my thoughts as they evolve and change, because they are changing at the moment. So let me know what you think in the comments down below, but that's it for today. Thank you all for watching. I love you guys, and I'll see you soon.